All right, folks, everything new under the sun. Well, here is another so-called World War III red alert. I'm not making these titles. I'm just pulling these from some of the websites. This is coming from jewsnews.co.il. I think it is all leading to a world war, but you know, they're putting the labels on there. China and Russia threaten Japan after enforcing claim to South China Sea with military. So why is Russia getting involved with China to enforce the South China Sea? They've got some agreements in place militarily. Military threats have been made by China and Russia towards Japan by sending aircraft and naval vessels into Japanese territory as a dispute of the South China Sea rages on. Now, I don't know why NATO doesn't come in there. They should have done this while China was building the aircraft carrier-like islands, the airports there. Tensions have been rising as China has become more aggressive on its claims. The communist state has disputes with 5 separate countries, so they're fighting with 5 separate countries over several islands that they have built out of nowhere to claim more land in the South China Sea, because as they claim more land, more islands, basically their international water rights increase to encompass those islands, and so they're just making land grabs, basically. The Senkaku Islands are a group of uninhabited islands under Japanese control, but they are claimed by China. Beijing calls the land the Diaoyu Islands. Weitz, a senior fellow and director of the Center for Political Military Analysis at the Hudson Institute, has explained that China wants to enforce their claims by ensuring foreign planes acknowledge its capability to control the airspace. He also said that Russia is motivated by monitoring U.S. military activity in the country. Russia's conflict with Japan also concerns the Kuril Islands. So why, Russia is completely involved in this. And this could be the cause of World War III, China and Russia, basically against NATO, who has to back up Japan if Japan goes to war. If Japan goes to war against Russia and China, NATO has to involve itself because they are part of NATO. So this is a clear and present trigger point. The Kuril Islands were historically part of Japan and were taken by the USSR in the final days of World War II. The U.S. is obliged to defend Japan if it is ever attacked by a foreign nation. This is the whole NATO thing. It says Zach Cooper, a senior fellow for the Center for Strategic and International Studies, has claimed that China are being prevented from being more bold by the U.S.-Japan alliance and the superiority of the Japan self-defense forces. Cooper said if the U.S.-Japan alliance did not exist, Chinese would be pushing much, much harder. He also said both countries know that given the scale and pace of China's military modernization, it's just a matter of time before China is able to outclass Japan in most areas of military competition. So China is biding its time. We know that. They're biding their time militarily and economically. They want to become the next world superpower. They are in place. They are nearly there on every front economically. They could take the United States out economically in a flash by dumping U.S. dollars. They are nearly able to simply overwhelm the U.S. with its military modernization and their movement there, increase in defense spending. And I think they're ready to go. They're ready to take over as the next superpower. They think they will. I don't know if there will be a next superpower. I think the next power will be a one world government and a one world leader. But this is certainly leading up to World War III. I think the Antichrist will come in and not allow World War III, but we'll see World War III warnings increase as we get nearer to the time when the Antichrist comes to power and brings, quote, peace, unquote, to the world, at least for a time, until the Seven Tribulation starts. This is significant news coming out of China, especially that Russia is involved here and directly battling. All you need is a false move by Japan, by China or Russia, and all of a sudden U.S. is dragged into this, NATO is dragged into this, and the whole free world basically has some requirement, some responsibility to back up Japan against the dictatorship countries, which are China and Russia. And I think this sort of thing, like I say, pushes us into the position where we are ready for a one world leader to bring peace to the world, and everybody will be crying for peace. That's what the Bible says. And so this is exactly the stage setting for that scenario. So this is significant in Bible prophecy, as are so many other stories happening Is it a World War III threat? I don't think the threat of World War III itself is imminent. I think the threat of a one world government and a one world leader is imminent, and these threats push that ahead.